Hello and welcome back to Operations with Void. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and today we are going after the new experimental ship, the Metz. Now, if you don't have the Metz, the way you unlock it is first you go to the tech tree, then you go to experimental ships, and then there's a button over here that says pay 50,000 free experience. So you can pay 50,000 experience to immediately get access to playing a battle and getting the rewards. Or you can play 10 battles with a tier 9 or tier 10 ship. It can be any mode, co op, doesn't matter, but you just need to play 10 total battles. However, it does not start counting until you open up this tab and start tracking. So, as you can see, I've already unlocked the Metz. I've already unlocked the Viasma, and now I'm working on the Oregon. And then once you play the 10 battles, or you pay 50,000, then you will get daily missions. Now, these daily missions get you 10, 15, and 20. So you can get 45 of these action reports each day. And this refreshes daily. So you can get 45 each day. These 45 will then allow you to unlock different parts. So you have to pay a certain number of action reports and then credits. And once all of these are unlocked, then you can get the ship. So it takes it took what, 2 days? 2 days to get the Metz. 9 days total, 9 days of playing to get the Viasma. So 9 days worth of missions. And then, or is it? And then it's 29 days. So I'm not sure if it's, I don't remember if it's 29 days total or 29 days after unlocking the Viasma. I did not go to school for math. I'm a history major, so not I guess kind of history and social sciences. So my math is don't trust my math. But anyways, I should be 21 million credits for the Oregon once I get it. It was like, so each of these ships cost about the same same price as a text tree ship on equivalent. However, these are all rentals. So if you don't have a lot of credits, or you're still grinding tech trees, or you only have a couple tier 10s, I would say these aren't worth it. Yes, they're a little bit of coal, but other than that, once you get all of them, hey, you get a tier 10 captain, a flag, and a destruction effect after you unlock Oregon. And the other two just get you coal. This is very much an end game thing. So if you don't have the credits, like, I am tempted not to get Oregon because I don't have credits after buying Phyasma. But if this is important for you to get the captain and the flag, then by all means, it's your credits. So with that, we will go after with the Metz, and I will show you how to play it effectively. Now, I want to keep in mind that honestly, Metz and Viasma actually both play like the French tech tree. The Cherbourg, Brest, and Marseille. They all play very similar to this line. So if you've already played this line, then they're just a straight better version of these. If you haven't played this line, then this video will show how to play, kind of how to play this line as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and hop into battle. Okay, I lied. We're not going to battle just yet. We're going to first show off the equipment that I forgot to go over. So the equipment that we're using is the main battery armaments. We have damage control modification. Now they say to use main battery mod 2, but it's all front guns. So I actually don't think that you need to use this. I mean, this is good. Instead, I use secondary because you are using large two large front guns, but this actually has a decent secondary. So this will help you focus into the secondary aspect of the ship. And since we're running this, I also run the secondary flag. We have damage control modification one because you have the 60 seconds fires that all battle cruisers have, and this helps reduce that time so you're not as uh, vulnerable to them. The other option would be prop mod for increased speed or steering gear mod. Prop mod to, but prop mod you can kind of replace with using the engine boost. So steering mod maybe, but I mean, yeah, because you have the 11.5. Steering mod's another good option, but we have defense damage control for the fires. And then we're using concealment because this brings your concealment down below your burst fire range and also increases dispersion. If you don't really care about the concealment, then here would be the place to run the steering gears, and this would make the rudder shift very nice. But that is a choice up to you. We are also using the India Delta for the increased heal, and then November Foxtrot for the reduction of 5% reduction in consumable time. So this lets you use your heal just a little bit faster, your DCP just a little bit faster, your speed boost just a little bit faster, your hydro just a little bit faster. Who cares about fighter? Okay, and the shells themselves. So you have two different types of shells. So you have the standard armor piercing, your standard HE. You have your limited armor piercing shells, your limited HE, and your limited, and then your standard armor piercing. Now it says that your maximum dispersion is reduced by 75 meters, and that is because it also reduces your maximum range. So your maximum dispersion is at 18.8 kilometers with this calculation, and here your maximum dispersion is at 11.5 kilometers. And because of the math and how the further away you are, the more dispersion, it means that at 11.5 kilometers you have less dispersion, but these shells don't actually have increased dispersion. They only have these are your HE and armor piercing shells are the same, but the improved shells have their higher velocity, higher penetration, reduced fuse time, and increased penetration angles. So as it works like heavy armor piercing, like your Russian armor piercing shells, your uh, high tier American heavy cruiser armor piercing. So it has the better penetration angles, and so that this gets all of those. But after you run through all of the 80 shells, then you go back to using your standard shells. And you only have a 10-second increase for these. So because it's a 10-second increase, but you get to fire twice, it's basically a 20 18-second, 18.3-second reduction in your reload, or you get that much more DPM. So it increases your DPM when you're using your burst fire. So you want to use a burst fire as much as possible. Now for captain skills. So I literally just took the captain off my breast. So yes, I had to get this off my chest. Anyways, I just used the same French the captain because this is it works basically the same. We're already using grease the gears here, so that's another reason why we don't need the module for the secondaries. That's why don't need the module for returning the front guns, and instead we're using the secondary one. So we have last stand because I don't like things getting incapacitated. We have gun feeder, we have priority target, have superintendent, we have concealment expert, we have adrenaline rush, and we have top grade gunner. So we have top grade gunner. This is for your main battery and secondary battery reload. Adrenaline rush for the reload of everything. concealment to bring us down, and concealment to sneak around. We have superintendent for the extra heal. Priority target, so we know when things are looking at us. Now, what we can do, and I would probably do if I respect the commander, is actually take away Last Stand or Grease the Gears and replace it with Pack a Punch. And this is only for the secondary firing range, because that would take our currently 9.6 kilometer secondary range, and I believe it would put us at, let me change to this commander, so it doesn't really matter what we do. So it puts us at 11.5 kilometers. So this puts our main battery gun and secondary battery gun at the same range. Not many ships have this. Main battery gun when you're using the burst fire and the secondary battery range. And not many ships have this interesting secondary. And like the secondary 100 millimeters, they don't really do much, but because it actually has 150 millimeter guns, they do good damage. 26 millimeter penetration, you're going to penetrate a lot of stuff. They have good fire chance. The reload time leaves a little bit up to be desired, but when you have you are going to have top grade gunner active when the secondaries are firing. So that's minus that puts us down closer to 7.7 seconds or so. So 7.7, 7.6 seconds around there. So that's actually a decent firing time for 150 millimeter guns. And so even though they have the worst accuracy, when they hit, and they're going to hit a lot more than you expect, when they hit, it's nice. So now, after going over that, we will go ahead and hop into battle. So here we are. We're in Killer Whale. Now I'm using this because tier 8 and below get Killer Whale, so I don't actually play that many tier 8 and below now. So this is a good chance to showcase Killer Whale once again. And then it also won't get in the way of any videos for the future ships that I have currently on the poll, which it seems like Vyazma is winning for next week's video. That said, because this is it has a burst fire mechanic, the Metz has a slower reload for the first reload. So you have to reload as if you had just burst fired. Anything with burst fire has a really long reload for that thing. On the plus side, since you start off at low health and you have extra HP, and you have you don't have extra HP. You have missing HP, and you have extra reload, extra adrenaline rush. So because I took adrenaline rush and the ship's built-in adrenaline rush, and then we have top grade gunner, we actually reload rather quickly for running double, 380 millimeter guns on a cruiser. Like, yeah, it's a really good reload for this. That's why we took everything, because that's kind of how you build into the DPM here, the reload. So there's another nice 4 hits. We're just taking up forts because we can. Some of these forts are dangerous, like this fort that we're looking at that has a battleship caliber gun. It is scary, and we want it gone. I don't know why CV's attacking it. Like, they did really, really good attacking the first cruiser. That is amazing. I was really proud of the CV. And then they took out rocket planes to attack forts. Of all the targets, don't attack. I mean, granted, they went after the one fort without AA, So, like, there are some brain cells working there, but as a CV, you don't attack. If you want to attack ground targets, you attack the other ground installations, not the forts, not the armored stuff. You use your HE stuff for the other. And if you're in a German carrier without any HE, like the tech tree ones, then you just go for the ships because they're worth more XP. So there we are. We didn't slap the Nuremberg much, just a little bit. But we are using the burst fire. We generally try to use the burst fire as much as possible because it actually, unlike most burst fire ships, the burst fire on the Metz actually increases its DPM. And so we use our heal rate there to try to kind of keep ourselves at a semi-reasonable pace. There we are. We shot, what, that's 15 out of 16 shells. That's really good. I mean, we're also point-blank range. The fact that 14 of them were just full pens, that's basically highest damage we would expect from a Bayer. Like, if we had 16 full pens, that would have been the best, but still, 14 out of 16 full pens plus an overpen. It's actually a lot of damage. If I were to do that into Citadel damage, that would be the equivalent of 4 Citadels and then some of damage. So even this is the thing about German battle cruisers, battleships, or whatever. Even though they have lots of armor and they're hard to Citadel, they're really easy to get full pens on. And so if you're driving one of them, and you suddenly lose a big chunk of health, most people are like, oh, it must have been a Citadel because of the sounds ringing and that's a lot of HP. But you can actually tell by how much you can heal back, because you can heal more back from normal pen than you can from a Citadel. If it was a Citadel and you just suddenly lost a big chunk of HP, you'd only be able to heal 10% of all that back. But if you can heal back a good bit more, it wasn't a Citadel. It was just multiple full pens, and that's the common thing with German ships. So we actually went in. We helped with entering the harbor, and this is something that the British, not the British, but the French battle cruisers can actually do. They can go in, help with the harbor, and then they're fast enough to run back out here to A1 and take on these. And because you're a tier 8 cruiser, you have a 25mm bow. So, like, Toulon, that's at tier 7, like, it doesn't get, I don't think does it get the bow? Yeah, no, Toulon at tier 7 gets a 16mm bow. However, Metz, because she's a tier 8, she gets a 25mm bow. Magically, because we up tiered a ship 1 tier, it now has a 25mm bow. Same ship, but you go from 17mm bow and 25mm side to 25mm bow and 27mm side. So yeah. So you get that upgrade of extremities, and this is kind of that's a random imbalancing factor, so that you're not overmatched by so many low tier ships. So this is just basic heavy cruiser armoring, especially for the French. But what that means is you can bow tank some ships that the Toulon cannot bow tank. So the Toulon would be overmatched by the Fuso that we're coming up here to take out. But the Metz, on the other hand, can bow tank it. And so we have HE loaded. Since it doesn't have any special properties on the shells, it's just basically a reload boost. And so there we are, we're able to take the Fubuki down. So we're going to have our guns, secondaries, focused on the Fubuki to get it out of the fight really quickly, since we already put it down to 3,000 HP and it's not worth our main guns. And we're actually turning to make sure our secondaries can fully focus on it as we're trying to intercept the Fuso with our bow. And now it's gone, and we're going to go ahead and put a good broadside. That's what, 13 shells, 12 full pens, nearly half of the Fuso's HP. We are on 2 fires, but this is where the Toulon excels over have the other French battle cruisers. Is that because she has a super heal and can heal 10,000 HP back instead of like 7 or 8. She can tank this. Ooh, nice. 15 pens. 15 out of 16. All full pens. I mean, yeah, it's not a Citadel. Would have been nice if it was a Citadel. And so we sat there just long enough to bait out the T-22's torps before speeding on. And so we're just going to sit behind the Fuso as our secondaries pelter the T-22. Since we can kind of tank it. And so we're shooting up. So we have some full pens, but it's mostly over pen damage. But we're also taking out, getting incapacitation ribbons and hitting the guns. So that's making it harder for them to shoot. And also by sitting at the bow, at the stern of the ship with our bow in, we're reducing the number of secondaries can actually shoot at us, which is greatly reducing the chance of getting set on fire. And there we go, another burst fire into the rear through the superstructure, 9 full pens, and we're able to take it down, getting us a well done from the carrier. We're going to go ahead and say thank you. So now we wait. We're going to move in. We continue with the armor piercing loaded, even though we've used up the special ammunition. It's still better to do the burst fire. Yes, you have a limited number of special ammunition with the special properties, but you might as well just use them. And we have 9 overpens in the Nuremberg. Oh well. Now we reload. And since it's going bow in, we will go bow in. That means it can't torp us. And we also produce a smaller cross section. It's only shooting with 1 turret, and we have all of our guns. And we'll just overmatch its bow and delete its front turret before our other ships, our allies, take it out. We had just incapacitated it and made it so that it was not a threat to us anymore, except by ramming or torps, and they took it out. So we're going to go ahead and use our second to last heal. We're going to bring us back up to the second and the half health. This ship, it's really a lot of managing your HP. You want to go up and down, kind of. Okay, you don't want to go up. You kind of want to hover around half HP or a little bit less than half HP, because the special gimmick reduces your dispersion, makes your guns more accurate, in addition to lowering your reload. So this is where you want to hover in order to have high DPM and both actual DPM or paper DPM and effective DPM. Paper DPM is your max stats, whereas the effective is how much damage you actually do. And so effective DPM also accounts for dispersion, it accounts for overpens. So like if we're shooting at destroyers, we have a much lower effective DPM with AP than we do have with HE. And it also, the effective DPM is also with, that's it. Oh yeah, because with full pens, you only get 1/3 damage. And so there, we have 9 hits, but only one's a Citadel. So, and the other are over pens. If we had a couple more citadels and a more full pens, we might have just taken out the Alba. But because we don't have the special shells with the short fuse, we're not taking out the Alba. Over pens. So there we go, another 12 over pens. And so that's the downside of running out of the special shells, is now that we don't have the special shells, we're just going to overpen the Alba, especially when you're broadside at this range, because this ship has too much pen. The upside is we might actually be able to Citadel the Fuso with the longer fuse time. And so, okay, what we do there is we do 2 and 2. So we did the first set on the Fuso and the second set on the Alba. And so we just did the second set on the Alba to take it out of the picture, so we have one less ship shooting at us. We are now out of heals. Oh, that's the second fire. We're gonna repair that real quick. So now again, we are making sure that our bow is turned towards the Fuso, even though it's not shooting at us. That's mostly because our ooh, that's a lot of ricochets. We were not at a good angle for the Fuso. And we're doing bow in because well, all our guns are bow in, and it gives us the lowest profile. So why not use all of our guns while giving a small profile? Okay, sure, our secondaries aren't in the battle, but it's not like they do much anyways. Against a battleship with 39mm deck armor. Yes, the Fuso has ridiculous deck armor. And there we go. Nice 2 citadels against that Nuremberg. That's because we are far away. It's slightly angled, a little bit of plunging fire, and our shells were actually able to do much. Now we're going to turn away. We're going to run away because we're at low HP. We don't have any heals, and they're looking at us. Okay, no more Nuremberg. And Bayern overmatches us. He doesn't overmatch our side, but he does overmatch our bow and stern. There is 380s versus our 25mm. And we're down to 4,000 HP. Time to run away. But we're not going to be out of sight yet. Oh, another good thing, because the burst fire also reduces our max gun range, it also means that our gun bloom is much smaller. And so while this is nice of him to use the smoke screen, we didn't see this, and so we're still detected because yeah. And our allies all go into the circle, so we get the victory screen. Can we get this last shot off? Last shot off. Okay, we got some shells in. And we get three stars. So no one went to the far side to take care of the 2 ships at the other end, so that's why we only got 3 stars. So this is kind of the result that a single player can do. So this is both the minimum and the maximum effect of like one person in Killer Whale. But it also got us really high on our team because we were in there, we were doing work. First Fuso we basically took out, and then we had 2 destroyers to ourselves, most of several cruisers, and a little bit on that York at the end. So when we are taking out ships, we're taking out the majority of said ship, with a couple of them that we didn't do much to. But when we are going to ships, and actually taking out the ship, we're doing a lot to them. But that Bayern, early on, we did 25k to a couple of the forts. And we only fired 16 high explosives. So we only had the 1 burst fire against the Fubuki. 12k to the Fubuki with just that 1 burst fire. It's really good strongness. The credits, on the other hand, leaves a bit to desired. We are using gray boosters, but it makes the same credits as a texture ship. So the only reason really to run this is for the coal. Once you've run out of coal missions, there's really no reason to use the ship anymore. Unless you really like this play style, it's it's all right. But yeah, I hope I hope that people watch this video and learn to use this ship a little bit more effectively. You don't want to be the target of a lot of cruiser HE spam, but if you're bow into battleships that can't overmatch you, like Fusos, then it's a good ship. If you're bow into if you get an over up tiered to tier 9 and a tier 9 team, and all the battleships over there can overmatch you, then you kind of want to sit behind. You're probably not going to use your burst fire as much because you're not going to be as close, and you want to sit a little. You always want to be behind somebody to get the best, and you're going to be a support ship, not a frontline brawler. You can get in the front and tank a little bit if need be with your super heal, but for the most part, in the higher tier, you want to be sit back a little bit. But at the lower tiers, this is a good video. You want to be in the front usually, uh, tanking, doing damage, and you will find yourself at the top or near the top of the leaderboard more often than not. Although sometimes you might just die because RNG says you take all the torps, even with the Hydro. That said, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.